Hello, best team ever leaders. Good morning. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Good morning. I guess it's 11:20 here, so it's probably later than that in your various places across the world. Anyway, I was just thinking about our chat yesterday from our BTE Leadership Circle book club thing that we had. And at the end, we had some great conversation with some potential leaders about basically just organization and being a leader and what it means and how to keep track of it all and how to be the best leader you can be. I believe that being a good leader involves, so what does a director mean? What does a star director mean? What does a superstar director mean? To me, it means the whole system is duplicatable. As a Scentsy consultant, you bring in new people and you help them to bring in new people and you train them and you help them to develop their own team as you develop your own team. So your focus, hey Lori, so your focus is on your team. That's where your number one focus is, your team and your own business. And then as you develop leaders out, then they take their own leadership skills that they've learned from watching you and learning from you, and then they do the same thing and replicate. So our job as a director or with other leaders or as a superstar director eventually is to focus on your business and your team and your leaders. And then they will continue to do the same thing. And then the system is duplicatable and not overwhelming. Well, there was this form that I was showing them that I don't know if it's helpful for you, but I have my little Scentsy journal here. It's like my little Scentsy Bible. I've been thinking about getting like one of those, the Happy Planner rings so that I could make it into more of like a spiral. But for now, it's easy because I already had a hole punch and I had this little binder. So I just print it binder size. So like I said, this is kind of my little Scentsy Bible. It's got all the things. It's got my tasks to do. It's kind of basically like my planner. So I was just showing them yesterday. It's got like my daily to-dos and things like that so that I'm not spinning my wheels. But I'm going to show you one thing that I used today that might be helpful whether you're just starting as a leader or whether you've been a director for 10 years or if a star or even a superstar director. This is a simple form that I use. You can use whatever. Like I said, it's nothing fancy, but it's a simple form that I use. You could do it with your directors or even just your frontline trackers. But I like to have something that I can use to see at a glance where people are doing. So for example, so I have all of my up and coming directors, my potential directors, my frontline directors. I have them here in this little book. So I have a page for each one of them. And like, for example, Lori, since you're on here, here's your page. So here's Lori's page. So in this at a glance, I can go to her and think, okay, who is my leader with any potential within my team? That way I can see them. And I'm a paper girl. You could do this online if you want, but I just need to be able to see it so that I can track over time their progress and where they're doing. So if they have a great month, I know about it. If they're usually tracking higher and they kind of have a dip, I can notice it because I can see all of their own personal numbers on one page at a glance. So like in this form, I have it by month, and then I have, it'll probably be backwards, but so I have it by month, and then I keep track of it by the month. So again, on at the end of the 1 month, then you can write it down. So this is a month at a glance. And then it has their name at the top, and then it has their own PRV, because again, if they're getting at least 500, then you need to know that. Or if their team wholesale volume is really high, but they're not even getting 500, then again, ding, ding, ding. That's a great mentoring point that you can take. How many new frontline they have. So again, are they actively sponsoring to grow group wholesale volume and group size? Or like I said, for me, these are usually my frontline potential directors, so that is usually blank. Team wholesale volume and team size, the title, and then there's a check mark box there if they were paid at title, as well as how many active frontline and any notes that I want to make. So like I said, something super simple, but the idea is just keep track of your leaders, know what they're doing, and your potential leaders, know what they're doing, know how they're doing. If that way you can kind of see trends where they might not see it. For me, that's the biggest benefit as a leader that we can give. Training, yes, that's important. But again, even if you are totally absent and not there, they can find training on the workstation and YouTube, and they can kind of work through it. So I'm not saying don't train on your team. I'm just saying that can be found elsewhere. That can be replicated if you don't. Training, motivation, there's lots of different groups they can watch. But what your eyes can give them that they can't get anywhere else, that is our responsibility as, in my opinion, as a team leader, is this kind of thing. know the compensation plan, know how close they are, know their normal numbers, where they're tracking, know if they're getting close to a promotion. If they're paid at title, that means they're nice and consistent, so they definitely are ready to go to the next level. So if they are kind of stuck, but their own personal recruits are not increasing, well, that's a great thing that you could talk with them about and mentor them a little bit, coach them through the need to grow their own team. So anyway, super simple little sheet, but very important to be tracking it. You could put, I've seen also a different tracker where there's like a few days, there's like multiple people on the same sheet. I just do mine all on one page per person so that I can be like, okay, here's Dre's, all of her numbers. So I want to look at how Dre's doing, and Lorena and Michelle and Dominique and Lori and Serena. And so again, these are my up and comings who are in my own team. You could do one for your leaders as well if you have directors underneath you, just to kind of, again, track where they are at so that we have that bird's eye view as a leader to kind of see up above, is your team size 6? Okay, you should be about ready to promote to star, because 6 is about how much you can sustain that if you haven't already gotten there. So again, we can help them kind of see maybe what they haven't seen and point out important factors and next steps in their business. So that little one-on-one you could even do it in a PM. I do that all the time, or you could do it in a coaching call one-on-one. Or if nothing else, like I just did this morning, I took a screenshot of this and I sent it to Dre and I said, look, your PRV is way higher than it has been. Look at, because it's a year at a glance. And by October, it's kind of fun because you can see, they've got quite a few years. So she had her highest PRV of the year, and she had her highest TWV, and she had the most active frontline. So again, she didn't earn a promotion. She's still just a lead consultant, but those indicators went up. So that way I could screenshot it and I could notice at a glance, and then she could notice and celebrate. Because again, celebrating those little steps as you go, success brings more success. So, and what gets recognized and rewarded gets repeated. So recognize the growth, recognize the consistency, and point out ways to help them see how they can continue to grow. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If you want, I can find where I had this frontline tracker. You could do it for all of your frontline. Like I said, I just did it for my leaders, my potential directors. Or you could do it for all of your frontline, whatever level they are, because again, that's kind of the formula. You take care of your team and your frontline and your leaders. And then the whole thing multiplies, and it's definitely not overwhelming. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, comment below. Happy to answer them. And just thought I would come by with a little Wednesday tip for a little leadership tip for making the best out of your business and helping pull out and see that potential in our team members. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Here's to a great day. Love you lots.